Oh, hello there. I just picked up this nostalgic book of mine from my shelf. Thinking about it, this was the first book that was ever gifted to me by my parents when I was 8 years old. However, that is not the purpose of today's video. My name is ISABELLE Simba, representing Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Sungai Tapang, and I am going to share with you some of my favorite books. One of my favorite books is The Hunger Games by Susan Collins. It is not a surprise if you have heard of this name before, because it has its own film. I saw the book sitting on the shelf of my school's library, and I picked it up to read it. Ever since then, I've fallen in love with the book. The cover depicts a golden bird with an arrow barely missing it. This suggests that the book contains thrilling action to the readers. Furthermore, the cover is enhanced by the word games, which provides a rhetorical question as to what the game could be. However, the cover of the book is too plain, which can be underwhelming and hides the content within. That gives the book an air of mystery to an avid reader such as myself. However, I strongly believe that there are more to the book than what is shown on the cover, as we should not judge a book by its cover. My favorite part of the book is the ultimate climax, where the two protagonists, Katniss and Peeta, decided to pull a trick as an act of rebellion against the Capitol, where both of them will die together by eating poisonous berries, so that there will be no winners for the Hunger Games. This, in my opinion, has made me realize the importance of friendship and how valuable it is. They were willing to sacrifice themselves instead of fighting each other to death. Because of that, the Capitol decided to stop them and declare both of them as winners, which has saved their lives. If the Capitol did not do this, the people would turn their back against the Capitol, who is the organizer of the Hunger Games, because what was meant to be entertaining has become an emotional tragedy, an ending that does not meet people's expectation. So by this, the game makers declared both of them as winners, which was against the rules. The ending of the book made the readers and I myself question ourselves. Is this the ending of the book? Or is this just the beginning of something worse? Next. This book, entitled The Trials of Apollo, The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan. From the cover of the book, you can tell that it is fantasy due to its specific usage of several elements. It might appear boring to those who don't like fantasy novels. I must admit that fantasy is not my cup of tea, but this book is different than regular fantasy novels. The cover depicts an imagery of a man falling from nowhere. The color scheme used and the combination of color gradients suggest that this is a fantasy book. The title itself, The Trials of Apollo, will make readers wonder what could the trials be. But upon reading the next line, The Hidden Oracle, it will make the readers think that this book is just simply about a man who is trying to find an oracle. But there is more than that. We have always yearned for power. But what happens if we lose them? That is what exactly happens to the first narrator and protagonist of this book, Apollo, the Olympian god of the sun, prophecies, music, archery, and healing, has been casted out of heaven by his own father, Zeus, who blamed him for facilitating a war between the Roman and Greek demigods. As a punishment, he was turned into a regular teenager named Lester Papadopoulos with acne and slap. For a demigod like him, it is definitely something that he struggles with. Now, this book in my hand is entitled The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. What do you see on the cover of this book? Well, you can see that there are two people on the cover, and this can be easily mistaken as a teenage romance novel. However, that is not the case. It dives deep into themes of fate, evolution, and existence. The two protagonists of this novel are polar opposites. Natasha, a young girl who is very logical and believes that everything happens for a reason. She does not believe in love or fate, nor terms like bride and daydream, because that is just a totally absurd notion to her. However, Daniel, on the other hand, is a young Korean boy who is romantic and loves poetry. Unlike Natasha, Daniel believes in love and fate. There is no limit to his belief, as he believes in everything, that there is no limit to his belief. My favorite quote from this book is the last sentence on page 130. That is, to grow up is to grow apart. That is sadly the reality of our world, as there is a certain point in life where we will start drifting away from each other, heading towards the directions of our lives. This quote has made me realize the importance of appreciating every moment, now and then, because we cannot turn back in time. And that is just how the cycle of life works. One of my favorite books also includes To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. This is my all-time favorite romance novel because of the chemistry between each character. The central theme of this novel is love can make people do crazy things. And as a romance novel enthusiast, that statement cannot be denied. Lara Jean, a girl whose life was described as normal and boring. The main protagonist of this book, Lara Jean, her life was described as normal and boring. However, that turned upside down when all her secret love letters got sent out by accident to all her previous ex-crushes, 5 in total. Her social life began to turn upside down as one by one her ex-crushes confronts her regarding the love letters, including her first love interest, Peter Kaczynski, who is one of the popular people in her school. Lara Jean's character development can be seen as we progress further into the novel, where she starts making decisions on her own instead of relying on her own family, especially her sister. It was an amazing feeling to witness this. It was an amazing feeling to witness how matured and wise she has become, from someone who constantly doubts herself to someone who it was an amazing feeling. It was an amazing feeling to witness how matured and wise she has become, from someone who constantly doubts herself and to someone who speaks whatever is on her mind. This novel had put me through a roller coaster of emotions because of the constant obstacles that were thrown into her way. Her relationship with Peter begins to blossom into something real, something that she was scared of happening. I would highly recommend this to people who are interested in reading romantic comedy novels because it includes a dash of humor. Finally, this book, entitled Reflection by ISABELLE Simba, is a novel that I cannot get over with. Initially, I bought this book because of its cover that piqued my curiosity. The cover depicts a foreboding and dark atmosphere, which intensifies the gloomy feeling. Not only that, but there is the word underworld, which is a hellish and grueling place. This book proposes an alternate scenario where Mulan will have to travel to the underworld to save Captain Shang from his death. I admire her bravery because she was just a young girl, impersonating as an imperial knight. She was willing to take the extra mile to save Shang, who was considered to be her close friend. Fear did not stop her from traveling to the unknown, even though she knew about the risk. I aspire to have this quality of hers, as determination is what overpowers fear. Other than that, this book is also educational because it educates people on the culture that inspired Disney's Mulan. They use fictional characters from the Chinese mythology, such as King Yama. According to the Chinese mythology, King Yama, also known as the King of Hell, judges the dead and presides in the Narakas, also known as the Hell Realm. Thus, these are all the books that have influenced my way of thinking and my perspectives on life. The author of Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, once quoted, "I do believe something very magical can happen when you read a good book." With that, I would like to thank you for your time and attention.